Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're doing a reading vlog today, which I'm going to do more book content on my YouTube this year. And in today's reading vlog, we're going to be reading books outside my comfort zone. I was on Fable at the end of 2024 looking at my reading stat. And I'd like to thank Fable for sponsoring today's video. It's like, can you imagine? One day I'm going to stitch this clip with me actually being sponsored by Fable. And Fable shows you your stats of your genre divide. What am I trying to say? And when I saw these stats, I decided that one of my reading goals for 2025 would be to read more books outside my comfort zone. We're gonna have a little look at these stats and you'll see what I mean. So in 2024, I read 82 books. Do you wanna guess how many of those books were romance? Guess. Comment right now before I tell you. Ready? 61. So only 20 books out of the 82 books, 21, no, 21. Only 21 books out of the 82 books I read were not romance. Ridiculous. Right, I don't know exactly how they split it, but I'll get the chart up here. This is how it shows to me. So do these all add up? Because obviously I'm just checking whether any books go into multiple genres. 61, for example, it doesn't add up to 82. That adds up to over 82. If I'm right. Does it tell you which? I want to know which books is classed as what. Because apparently I read 6 sci-fi books and I had no idea what 6 sci-fi books I read. 13 fiction. Again, don't know what. Okay, I wish I. Yeah, it looks like you can't see which books fell into different categories. It doesn't look like there's a way of splitting it. But anyway, that is a lot of romance books. We got 3 books in today's video that we're going to read. A little bit of a mix. Not that far out my comfort zone, if I'm honest. But yeah, we're going to see how today's video goes. I'm not going to tell you what the books I'm reading. And I'll come back for a little review at the end. So without further ado, let's get in today's video. So I have finished my first book. I'm looking crazy. Ignore my appearance. I finished. It's bedtime. I'm exhausted and I'm about to fall asleep even though it's really early. But I've just finished my first book in this reading vlog, which I didn't update you on, but it is literally only 200 pages, which is why I haven't kept you updated. So I'm going to give you a little summary. I'm going to leave the rating to the end of this video of all of the books, especially because I just feel like I need to think on this rating. But this book probably comes under the category of magical realism, and I don't know whether you'd class Ashley Potson's books as this. I think hers are romances with elements of magical realism. I found with this, it took me, I want to say a little bit to get into, but literally probably the first story, so 50 to 100 pages, which is obviously just half the book. I wasn't really a fan of the first short story. Guys, I just checked my Goodreads and I noticed they included this book twice. And I feel like I wouldn't have realised them before I read 100 books by the end of the year and then got to December and then not realised and only read 99. Can you imagine? I'm trying to read 100 books. We're sorted. We're 13 books into 2025, guys. Okay, yeah. It was a short read. Read it in 2 days, which I feel like I could have easily read it in a day, and I almost wish I did as well. Because last night I was at I think I must have got to page 130 or 140, and I was so captivated in it. However, when I was reading little bits throughout the day, I wasn't that drawn into it. Whereas tonight, when I had to read the last 70 pages, and I just sat down on the sofa, I was completely captivated in the story, and it just felt like it was playing in my head. Literally, I was lying down. I'm on the sofa right now. I was lying down like this, and there was a certain part of it that I literally got up, and I sat just like this. Wait, ready? I sat just like this for ages, just sat up reading it because I was so encapsulated by the story. However, it took me a bit to get the character, understand which characters were which and what their understanding was to the story. Because either I'm dumb, I just felt like how they were introduced, it just didn't click in my head. But I also didn't feel a lot of connection to the characters, but I was, like I said, encapsulated in the book. So yeah, when I think about the rating, maybe around a 3-star. That's what I put on Goodreads at the moment. But like I said, I'll do my final ratings at the end. I know I didn't really keep you up to date with this, but at first I was just like, I felt like if it was longer, I definitely wouldn't like it. But I wish I almost just had like a full evening where I could have just read this, because where I like got to last night, I was really, like both evenings I've read it in, I was really encapsulated of it. But I just, when I was like reading on the treadmill throughout my day, I didn't get that into it because I was only reading like 10 pages at a time. But when I really like chilled and just like got into the story, I was just like, bosh. It's now the big book to read. Let's go upstairs and have a little look at it. I don't know how much of, I'm not gonna probably read much of it tonight because it's a bit too late to like properly start a book, but we're gonna go grab it and you'll see what our second book is. The next book, I feel like this is gonna take me 5 years to get through. What's it called? 11/22/63 by Stephen King. Have you seen that Theo James is in the new Stephen King movie? I'm pretty sure horror. I'm not a horror gal. Does Stephen King usually write horror? But this isn't horror. This is about time travel. They go back to change the JF Kennedy shooting, and it's giving Timeless, the TV show, which is one of my, I love that TV show. Maybe I should rewatch it. This binding is broken though. This is a heavy book. Really, guys, this is falling apart. This is a library copy. Can I? Ew, that's not good. Great. Slay. Look at that, Josh. It's broken. I didn't break it, I promise. This is going to be a pain to read. Well, I just maybe get a copy on my phone. Guys, it's so many pages. It's nearly 800 pages. And there's a hard copy. I want to read this. I want to read this. I don't want to hold the book. Because if I'm walking on the treadmill, it's me walking on the treadmill, reading the book. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart. Do I look good reading on the treadmill? Oh, this makes such a faff to hold. I might get this on my phone to read / iPad. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna read any. I think it's my bedtime, if I'm honest. We have another update. I'm 60% through. I've actually listened to a lot of the audiobook, which is a really good audiobook, I must say. Mainly because I have a thing that like books need to be finished before we go into a new month. I've never had like a major thing about it, but this year, for some reason I do. I have already filmed this clip, but I yap too much. But basically what I want to say is we're 60% through, and I'm at the point that I'm enjoying it, but and also I'm walking on the treadmill. Hopefully that noise isn't too annoying. I'm just, like, it feels like a lot of filler story, and I don't know if that's just how the book's written, because obviously, like, because of the premise of the book, he's got to live a whole life in the past because they can't control the time travel, because the premise of the book is they find almost like what they call the rabbit hole that takes them to a certain time and a certain place. It's not like a time machine that they can choose to go directly to when the assassination attempt is. And because of that, they've got to live, I don't know why it's they. George, Jake, his name's Jake, but he goes by George in the past, so that's what his ID is. Has to live a long time and life. So I'm like, we're going along with that, with him living that time. But I just don't know if this story is gonna loop around, if it's all gonna add together, or if this is kind of just the book. But like, in my head, if it doesn't wrap all around together, it doesn't really need to be 800 pages. Like, if it does, cool. But if not, I don't know. I am enjoying it, but like I said, it's just like a big book, and I think it's nearly 900 pages. Doesn't need to be. We'll see. At the moment, we're looking at like a 4-star. And yeah, I think I just like to read books quicker. But I just, like, I've not had, Josh has been away for a week, comes back today. So I've been working a lot more, so I've not had really like big chunks to read. But I am enjoying it. Hopefully I should be able to finish it by tomorrow, especially because I'm audiobooking a lot of it now. But then I'm literally gonna go, my Spotify audiobook time renewed today. And I'm probably gonna go through it already because I'm also reading on audiobook Before I Let Go. And like I said, I wanna read both of them by tomorrow. But I'm kind of prioritizing for my audiobook time this book. One, because I'm doing a reading vlog on it, hey. But also because, I think Before I Let Go seems like it'd be an easier read. Even though I am enjoying reading it, don't get me wrong. Anyway, that's that. I just finished 11/22/63. Why do I always want to say 11/22/63 by Stephen King? That feels like the whole title for some reason. Oh my god. Right, here's my thing. I do wish it was like maybe 100, 200 pages shorter. I actually quite enjoyed reading it over a long period of time and reading a long story. And sometimes, because it didn't necessarily feel like pointless, I think I just sometimes am so used to reading a book so quickly. The fact that this took me like maybe a week and a half, but it is a big book, so that's not too bad, you know. And I think as well, because I wasn't reading the physical copy, I was reading it just like on my iPad. It almost felt, I guess, you know, I'm not seeing the size and I'm not seeing my progress to the fact it is a big book. It kind of just felt like I was spending a long time reading a book. And not necessarily that you need to read books quickly either. I just do like reading books quick. But then it did really add to the romance like part of the story, because I saw a review on Goodreads about the fact it's so many genres, and I actually loved that about that, because apparently quite a few people didn't like the fact that it jumped from different genres. And at first the romance I was like, eh. But at the end, the ending, no. I had such a good time with the book, and I 100% recommend it, and I need someone to talk to it about, because Destiny Sidwell has read it, and that's what got me into it, got me to read it. She didn't include it in a wrap-up, and I'm like, I wish it was in a wrap-up, because I need to know other people's like thoughts on it, because I think she rated it like a 4.5. Like I said, I'm going to talk about ratings at the end, and I kid you not, guys, the ending as well, not the ending, not just the ending, but say the last 20%, was it? I don't know. I was reading on the Stairmaster today, and usually I hate reading on the Stairmaster. Like, I do an audiobook, but I usually can't read on the Stairmaster, get bored within like quite quickly, whereas I think I read for like 40 minutes on the Stairmaster, and then when I was doing my walking afterwards, I was so engrossed in it. I was really hooked at the last, it was like whatever the last 2 hours of the book was, that's like what it told me I had left, and I think it was around the 80% mark. I love the storytelling as well, but again, I think I'm just intimidated by big books, because I don't like spending a long time with books, because there's just something about being so engrossed in a story that you read it quickly. But then I do think I haven't had big chunks of reading time recently. Like, I've been reading sort of like 20-30 minutes at the gym, and in the evening it's like I'm not even reading for a full hour, so I'm not going to get through it that quick. So yeah, I really recommend it, and it's definitely made you want to seek out more books like that, especially from just even how the story was told and like the journey you go through with the book. And we are finally on our third book, which is Beartown by Frederick Backman. I'm intimidated by this one, I'm going to be honest. It is. I'm just going to quickly look up the genre. I want to say it's like a lit fic. Now, I read it in a reading vlog. The Nightingale by, I wanted to say Lauren Asher there. What is her name? Christian Hannah. everyone is so obsessed with it. Like Larry reads and Bailey. Wait. I was gonna be like, I don't know Bailey's last name, and then I realised that Larry Reed's, her last name isn't Reed's. Larry and Bailey have both started watching it and reading it. And I've been looking on their Instagram stories, and they are both like obsessed with it. And then all the other like of my favourite people, which like the Australian book girlies like Sophie and George and Rachel Lang, is that her name? Yeah, Lang. They did it in their book club and rated it 5 stars, all of them. Destiny and Sarah, I think, have also done it really high. And you'll see in the reading vlog, I did not care. And and even when I got to the end, because I loved Firefly Lane by Christian Hannah. But when I got to the end of Nightingale, I was like, I wish I did care, because that ending was stunning, beautiful. And then it was the same with, I read Anxious People, just didn't care. I think a lot of it, I love some type of lit fics, and other times I'm like, really just could not care less for this story. And that's what I'm worried about with Beartown. But I'm hoping, there are some lit fics I do like. Let's see if this even is lit fic. Okay. And we've had some good ratings for here, but I'm worried this is going to be like a Nightingale situation. Yeah, it's a lit fic. That's what I thought. All I know is it's like about a town, and it's like a town that struggles, and hockey's really big in it, and they need to win hockey to help the town. That's kind of the gist I've got of it. And like you follow loads of different people. A headache. Ooh. It says something about a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatized and a town in turmoil. I like to go into books very, very blind. So we'll get more of the gist of it as I read it. Haven't started it. It's not like a massive book like Stephen King's. And also this is a series. And Sarah loves the whole series of it, so I'm hoping I love it. 300 pages, so it is slightly bigger. And I have to try and read it in like by Tuesday, and it's Sunday today, because I have to return it to the library on Thursday, but I'm actually away Thursday seeing Sabrina Carpenter. So we need to hurry up, and well, we'll see how much you get. Worst case, I just download it on my phone once, when I return it. If I don't finish it, I want to try to, because like I said, I'm really in the mood to consume a book in like a big chunk of reading, but I just need to set up more time aside for reading. Sorry, I'm really struggling because I have got a headache and a migraine coming. So I shall see you when we've got some updates for Beartown. Update time on Beartown. Okay, here's my issues. I'm enjoying it, but it is not keeping my attention, and that's probably my fault. But I'm reading out a couple of pages and then going on my phone on TikTok. I have something in my teeth. That's embarrassing. But I'm 38% way through, and yeah. I'm enjoying it though, I am, but for some reason I keep getting distracted when I'm reading it, and it's taking me a long time to read, especially because I've been away at like Sabrina this week, so I've been busy before that, but I have had plenty of times this weekend because I'm in Bristol, and I just haven't been reading it, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. A very quick bedtime update. I might be a little bit more hooked now. So I got to this morning, I think I must have been at 40%. And I literally read nearly 20% in my workout this morning at the gym, because I did an hour stairs, 45 minutes walking after. And I'm kind of, I've got this glare in my camera and I don't know what it is. Hopefully it goes. Right, my issue is I am struggling to lock in to reading. I did have a bit of time this evening to read, and I definitely haven't read enough I didn't lock in. That's my fault. But I am definitely more invested. Like, I just read a little bit and I was like, could this be like a 4.5? Like, I don't know, we're looking around that. I love just, like, thinking about my ratings throughout reading the book. But we're at the 60% mark now. I'm really wanting to get this read, like tomorrow would be ideal because I got a new release coming out. But we shall see where we get to. And I just wanted to update you on that. But yeah, like I said, I'm just, like, struggling. There's an element of, like, not having as much time to read. Like, this is why it's taken me a long time to get through this book. I also know this is, like, is it around 500 pages or something like that? Reading on my iPad, so it's obviously different than, like, what normal pages are. So it is a slightly, it's not like a huge book, but that to me is on, like, the bigger, like, I would say, no, we don't need to talk about that. Magic, what's happened, like, I know, how do you even broach the subject, one, without spoilers, but, like, what a big plot of this book is from what it seems, I don't know, and it's a hard topic to discuss, but it's non-spoiler anyway. But anyway, that's where we're at. We shall see how we continue on the next 40%. Could we get 5-star? I'd be shocked if it is. I also feel like we don't care. Bye. Talk to you in a sec. I have officially finished Beartown, so I want to sit down and talk final thoughts with you guys, with all the books I've read, and conclude today's reading vlog. So, as I think I only gave 2 updates with Beartown. One, that I just couldn't keep my attention with it. And then the second half, I got really invested in it. So, I had some conflicting thoughts because for a weekend, well, for a couple days anyway, there was a lot of time I could have been reading, but I just kept closing down the Kindle app on my iPad and going on my phone, which was not good. However, I then got really, like, the rage you feel in the story, and I just don't know how to explain it without spoiling it. But what happens, like, is it around the 40% mark? Making that up. But it's not straight away, because you set up the world, you set up the characters, and then the thing happens. It is... I saw Destiny Sidwell when she did her best books of 2024 video that she just uploaded. She said that Frederick Backman, I think is how you say it, Frederick Backman, writes women quite well, and from, like, a place of, some men just don't write women, write a woman's perspective properly, and how he writes it just seems really bad, and something I really want to get better at, because I want to upload more book content on my YouTube, is articulating my thoughts when it comes to books. So hopefully I can say what I'm trying to say. Let's go through my ratings for all the books I read, and then we can have a little bit more of a chat about them. So first of all, we read Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshimi, I don't know how to say the name. I will put the name on the screen of the author. I'm just going to butcher if I try and say it. I'm sorry if that's bad to say. Quick read. I'd recommend. Had a little bit of perspective, but if I'm honest, it's been a few weeks since I finished reading that. Don't remember much about it, but it was a good, quick, enjoyable read. 11/22/63 by Stephen King. Really enjoyed this. Felt like it was a little bit long, but not that it dragged. And I was actually quite interested in, even though I felt like it could have been 200 pages longer, those 200 pages just added something to the story that was quite interesting to read. That, I mean, I was watching, I like to liken everything to that. One time I will articulate my thoughts well. But Jessa Hastings did an interview on a podcast called What She's Reading, and was basically saying how, like, a lot of TV shows nowadays are, like, only 8 episodes long, but back when they were, like, 20 episodes long, you would get those little extra moments when they are just, like, having their coffee, for example, in the morning, whereas, like, now they're the sort of things to, like, get cut. And it's the same with books being shorter, and having those sort of mundane extra bits actually does add to the story. But obviously a lot of people then think they're kind of unnecessary. And I kind of thought the same with that with 11/22/63. It did add to it, but it did then, I'm like, is it needed? But it was also enjoyable to read something that had that extra information that a lot of books would have cut out. Definitely would like to read a bit more sci-fi. I don't know whether I prefer just like that time travel element, but see if I read a bit more sci-fi and see how I feel. And finally, Beartown by Frederick Backman. Actually, I didn't give my ratings. Before the coffee get cold, I gave a 3-star. Stephen King's 11/22/63, I gave a 4-star. Beartown was actually my higher rated, which is 4.5. And I said before I started Beartown, I was really intimidated to read it, which was definitely the case. Didn't think, like, it was hard to, like, be into the story. But once I then, probably at, like, the 40% mark, when I actually just had, and I think it's my fault for having bad attention span. TikTok, you're ruining everything. But here's my conclusion when it comes to reading books outside my comfort zone. I enjoyed it. I'll definitely continue reading it. However, I love consuming a book really quickly. One, I just love that escapism and just that entertaining value. Since I finished Beartown, because I then got really behind on my reading goal, reading those 3 books, I think I read 5 books, including a short story, in a week. And I did actually had some good reads from that. One was only 2.5, but I read 2 5-stars. That short story, which I gave no review, and a 4.5. Is that right? Or 4? No, a 4-star. So I do love binge reading books. I love feeling just absolutely, I think I kept saying it earlier, but encapsulated in a book. And just like, I don't know, I just love that like feeling with reading. And some books I'm not that bothered to pick up all the time. But I have also realised that I enjoy reading whilst I run, whilst I also have music in my headphones. Because previously I would read or put an audiobook and I'd get bored of my run. But if I have my running music, I can still read at the same time. Same when I do my hour on the Stairmaster. So I'm reading for a little bit more longer. And when I do that, that really helped me get my attention with Beartown, because I'm not going to be swiping off it. Like, there might be like a moment where I stop reading to like focus on the run, but I'm not going to stop. Yeah, I'm just having the screen up, so I'm most likely reading it. So I feel like that's going to help me like read a bit more. And I didn't think I'd want to continue Beartown, the series, but I definitely want to. Not sure when, because, yeah, the book... Yeah, so that's basically what I want to say. I want to continue reading outside my comfort zone. Reading books that I am a bit intimidated by, because I did have some good results. That's why I read outside my comfort zone, and the results were conflicting. Because I had some good reads, but it did take me a long time to read them. Understandably, with like 11/22/63, that's like nearly a 900-page book. So yeah, that is going to take me a bit longer. And that's basically all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any books in this video, and whether you have any recommendations for more books that I can read that are out my comfort zone. And I shall see you in the next one very shortly. Don't forget to subscribe and all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you. Bye.